and supporters across the globe. Thank you for tuning in to another live topic segment with your very own audio host and author, Miss Tetta Sherry Whitney. Of course, though I'm usually the host of these streams, it does not exempt or exclude anybody else from leaving their own opinions and reactions in the chat. We just ask that everybody keep it wholesome and respectful over here because everybody comes from different backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences. So that's what You Will Make It TV about. About uh, helping to share and spread inspiration across the globe, one divine message at a time. We also consider these live streams our insightful topics, and we appreciate your support. Now, we've dedicated the month of October over here at You Will Make It TV to raising more awareness to matters and topics in the domestic violence communities, right? I mean, no community should include domestic violence, but it's so common and often, and even on tonight's stream, we'll look a little bit more into the books, into the black and white and gray areas. And what do I mean when I say that? Well, I mean into the statistics, because a lot of people are still, and statistics is usually just information that has been reported. So statistics, you always might want to add a bigger number than whatever it shows you, because sometimes statistics are just reported based off of what has been reported. So it's always what has been reported versus what hasn't been reported. And usually if you have a few reports, there's usually more of it going on, or that's been going on. Once again, a lot of things we don't even know is going on until it is exposed. Even God believes that. That's why he's the great mystery. He's the great revealer. He's the one that shows signs, miracles, and wonders. Because maybe by natural design, it was for mankind to know everything, to have knowledge and insight. But maybe when sin came into the world, a lot of our judgment, intuition, whatever you want to call it, it's cloudy, right? You have sin fighting what you know is right and true every day. So I had made a promise on last night that I would come back and do a stream topic pertaining to divine parenting, which people probably have never heard of that. And that's okay, because usually a parent is a parent, right? All you know is it's a mother or a father. Feel free to tune in to previously recorded streams just like these. Like on last night, we were talking about how statistics shows that more fathers have been going to put them own selves on child support lately, right? So we already gave our reaction and commentary about that topic last night. But tonight, we're going more, and every night this month, it will be about edifying families, household relationships. Once again, if you're busy doing that, how do you have room for domestic violence to come in and penetrate your life, your family? And some people, they be doing just fine. Sometimes it's life's sudden, unexpected circumstances as well that can change a whole family dynamic. I met a young lady before once, right, that told me her family had never been the same since one grandmother had passed away. Like somebody who was considered the rock or the pillar or the glue to the family. Sometimes families lose those people within a family, and you just see domestic violence come in through those ways too, because people haven't learned always how to process grief, how to process loss. If you were just raised being taught, which some people do raise their kids, I don't know what that's called, like sheltering them or what, but they teach them like, yeah, you don't ever have to lack without anything. I mean, that's true in modern day times, but also teach them that loss and grief is real. Or they only find out when they actually lose something that's very real to them. And then they just be walking around lost, not knowing what to do after that, because they never probably knew how to deal with those type of emotions. Right? And see one family member bleeding and not going to get it stitched up or bandaged. I don't care what family you're talking about, they could very well end up bleeding on the others. And when people talk about that, bleeding on other people, I don't know what they mean, but when I say it, I mean you can bleed on other people, because if them people love you, of course anything you feel and they feel. or anytime you're cut or damaged, they feel the damage. A person that truly loves you, though, ain't no way you're ever hurt alone. Like, that person is carrying that pain and hurt and weight with you. You see? We share pain when it comes to true love. We share that. And we don't, I know it sounds good to say that, but I know it's true because some people have described feelings of like maybe feeling their partner or feeling their child or feeling somebody they had a really tight knit relationship with. They were able to feel something that they were possibly going through way from across the globe or from miles away. You know, it ain't just twins or triplets and people like that who are able to feel each other when they're not with each other, because they've done scientific experiments on twins too, psychological experiments with certain twins. I'm not going to go into detail. That's just another fun fact for you guys to go research sometime if you want to. But they have done studies on like whole twins or triplets or quadruplets, and they just found out like maybe they have like these extra senses when it come to one another, when it come to the twin that they was birthed into the world with. I always thought studies like that were interesting though, me personally, because maybe even conjoined twins, right? Just because they end up surgically, you know what I'm saying, detaching them from one another doesn't mean that they don't have other senses, like spiritual heightened senses that allow them to be connected to one another. They can feel each other's emotions and stuff like that easily. Now, my point is, it makes sense to believe that you don't have to be somebody's twin to have that level of a connection with them. You know, a sister and brother can feel each other in that way. They still siblings. That's a strong connection in itself. A sibling relationship and y'all blood. But let's say y'all not blood and you just have a really, when you, that's when you know a bond is true. That's when you know a bond is real. Because we're talking about divine parenting today. But last night I left off talking about like how it would have been retarded to tell Mary while her son was dying on the cross, like, oh, you don't care. You don't seem to be showing no emotions. I guarantee you everything they was doing to her son up there on that cross, she felt it. She felt it. She might didn't feel it physically, but that's what I mean when it comes to sharing a bond so strong with a person, you literally feel everything they go through. I feel like the world we live in today, people might want to share those positive euphoria feelings that you might, ooh, I want to share that joy with that person. That person just got a new car. I want to ride in a new car. I want to see what it feel like. That person just got a new house. Well, I want to go through the back door with her. I want to see what her swimming pool is like. Oh, that person just got a new husband. I want a new husband. I want to see what that's like. Or maybe I want a piece of her husband just so I can get it. I'm telling y'all, the realistic world we live in, the devil will have people's minds feeling like it's a straight delusion to feel like you can get a piece, just a piece, if they could, a fraction of your joy. I wouldn't want a fraction of somebody else's joy, because is it my joy at the end of the day? How does that fulfill me and it was your joy? To say I want a piece would be like a joke, or it could mean negative. You got to listen to people like, ooh, I want a piece of their pie. I want a piece of her joy. What's she so happy about? Depending on the source of that person's joy, you got to be careful with what you say. Everybody want their own everything anyway, right? Everybody's source. And that's where it'll get deeper too. People will try to look for your source. If they think your source is money, they're going to play with your money. If they think your source is your kids, they're going to play with your kids. If they think your source of joy comes from going to play basketball, they're going to try to they're going to try to make sure you can't find a basketball site in court, right? So I wouldn't say I learned to live hiding my sense of joy or my source of it. I just felt like I'm okay knowing as long as I know what it is, right? Like, nobody just wake up like SpongeBob every morning full of, most people, they don't. You know what I mean? It's like something has to make them happy or trigger their happiness. No, if you just literally personally carry joy in your heart every day, that's going to show too. Because it'll even shine through and show through moments that people feel like you shouldn't even have joy. Maybe Mary, back to what I was saying, Mary felt, I believe, everything her son was feeling on Calvary that day. Don't you know the devil was somewhere studying Mary's reaction? He also picked at the disciples a little bit too. He was picking at the disciples the whole time Jesus was being quote unquote punished. They was out there antagonizing the disciples as well and looking for the reactions of Jesus' family. It wasn't enough just to persecute him and abuse him and brutalize him in front of everybody he loved. They also wanted to study their reactions to what they were doing. They knew what Jesus meant to people back then. Because I always wonder, do people know that? Like, they knew exactly what they were doing when they crucified Jesus the way they did. Like, they actually felt so in control. They were studying the reactions of the people that loved him as they did it. They thought it was funny to see a disciple suddenly deny or reject what they were once following just to save their own lives. They thought that was funny. You know, evil is very real. They like, no, wasn't that one of them that was walking with Jesus? And, you know, I feel like just to save some of their lives, they was denying that they even knew Jesus. I don't believe everybody had a betrayal spirit like Judas did. Judas' part was a little different because he actually intentionally took payment and all of this different stuff. But there were people who really loved Jesus that I believe just stayed quiet through his persecution because they feared for their own lives. Like, you see a person being beat and whipped to beyond unrecognition, because the Bible say Mary didn't even know. She couldn't even identify her own son. Like, he had been beaten to unrecognition. Because most parents, they know their child when they see their child. I wouldn't care if their child gained weight, lost weight, got a little lighter or dark skin tone or got a new hairstyle. It doesn't matter what your child changed. That's the kind of bond that is. No matter how they change, you're able to recognize them from 10 miles away. You're going to be able to identify your child. But the Bible say Mary didn't even know who Jesus was. So I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit. But it's a good topic to me to talk about how more people, I think, all kids, as a matter of fact, are special and close to the divine, whether they want to be or not. They're just the closest to innocence we're ever going to find upon the face of the earth is children. And I was talking about how last night, you know, these are the kind of things, domestic violence awareness. This is what I think about when I think about, okay, well, if they talk about awareness and more teaching people how to be aware and how to prevent these situations, abusive situations moving forward, maybe if we up or increase our knowledge about the whole what family is, maybe that could help people. But number one on my list, family was never, it's just not the people that you expect for that to come from, you know. But that's why it's called domestic violence. If it's a boyfriend, if it's a husband, and some people be messy. They don't be the husband, boyfriend, wife, or girlfriend, but they be friends or loved ones of those people. And they have always taught for a long time that people should keep their quote-unquote relationship business private. Now, I just watched the world go through all these shifts. For a long time, they taught that young women, young men should keep their relationships private. Then they turn around and say, you know, you're trying to hide some, or you live in some kind of fake life. If you're going through something behind the scenes that you don't share with everybody, you're supposed to be fake. But once upon a time, they was coaching the world that it's more better. It's more morally and ethically right to keep your business in your own household. So it's like, to me, people don't know what they want. You know, they do their best to give advice and stuff to help people through situations. But at the end of the day, I feel like we all go through exactly what we were born to go through. And if a person see that what they going through is less than them, or they want to do better, that's between them and God. Like, or whatever they find that gives them peace, that helps them to do better in life. Like, I'll never try to rain on anybody parade about that. But what if more of us are? So I said that I feel like all kids are special. That's why they'll be like, kids can see spirits and ghosts, or kids and animals. They are very, very special. For those that didn't know. Kids and animals can sense things even when you too busy to do it, or your senses are down a little more. This is what I got blessed with at the stores. Look, baby, look. So God is good. If only I could show my subscribers. That's what the man gave me. Look, go get that. Um, so I did start off saying that I do believe all kids are special, or like they have a more sensitive spirit. It's something. They have a more sensitive soul because of their innocence and stuff like this. And we were talking about on last night how I believe Moses and Jesus are two good examples of children that were born of what I would call divine parents. Like people who were already very, very close with the quote unquote spiritual realm, or already, because how can a kid control what their parent was involved in, or who they parent had a covenant with, or who they parent was a slave to before they were even born? No child, last I checked, have a control of it. Like they have no idea who they, who they're going to be born into. They just born into it. So anyways, like Moses' story is touching because his mother, well, with both Jesus and Mary, I'm sorry, Jesus and Moses' stories, the mothers had to make quick decisions just to save the kid's life because of the way that the kings were coming at the people at the time, right? That's just like a lot of people had babies. I like to listen to their stories if they had pandemic babies, because there was a time, that was just a crazy time, right? Like to bring a baby into the world. We're not talking about the people per se. We're talking about the time frame that the babies came. I feel like all those parents are also divine parents. If you had a baby during the pandemic, shout out to you from the You Will Make It TV YouTube channel, because we actually believe here that every baby is here for a reason. We covered that last night a little bit on our very last domestic violence awareness topic, that babies have always come into the world through different situations and circumstances, but like, who is God to where they can sit up on a high horse all their life and look down on some child for the rest of their life because of how they came into the world? Because there are people that do it. They might just feel like they don't like how the parents brought their child into the world. So they'll sit there and attack that child and the parent for the rest of their life if they could, if they were God. And I'm so grateful God is God and that God is not man. Because just what if his mind operated the same way that human beings did? Like, he just operates straight out of jealousy and envy and comparison every day. That's not how God works. And I believe that he does his best to maybe even put special children in certain families to bring them closer to God, or he gives the children special families so that they can lead that child up properly, right? Because sometimes it's not always you that's chosen, but you were chosen to give birth to a divine seed. It's a lot of men that's true about too. Like divine fathers, just like I believe divine mothers are real, divine fathers are real. And if you look at your life and say, well, how do I know if I'm a divine mother or father? Well, think about everything you've been through. Think about the way that your child came into the world. Think about what you went through the pregnancy. What was the dad's background? And it'll tell you a lot. It'll tell you a lot. And then look at what your child seems to go through on a day-to-day basis. Like, is do you feel like their circumstances are above what you would call normal for a child and stuff like that? I wouldn't say you're a weird family or you're a family with a lot of burdens. You just might be a family that was created to continue to help lead and guide divine children or divine generations. Because the way you would raise your child would be different. The things you would teach your child would be different. Like, what you would be getting them prepared for would be totally different, right? Michael Jordan's dad, for example, we know he was preparing his child to become one of the best basketball players of the world. Venus and Serena Williams, we know that their parents were, and they're good examples, every one of them that I'm using right now, even though these were sports moms and dads. Venus and Serena parents, same thing. They knew what they were trying to invest in their children. Who was another one I just thought of? I said Michael Jordan, Venus and Serena. Oh yeah, and Tiger Woods, right? These are like people with stories who it's not hidden. Even Michael Jackson, they had the kind of parents that knew exactly what they wanted to invest in their children, and they weren't going to stop until they feel like they invested it all into them, so they could prepare their children to go in a certain direction. Those kind of parents you can't say didn't prepare their children for life. They prepared them so much that they made sure that their children left the household with a skill that could take them, as we see with these celebrities, though, far enough to take care of themselves and the rest of the family if they wanted to. In my opinion, though, if the devil can keep you so busy feeling burdened and overwhelmed with who your child is or what you feel like your child should have, like how would you be focused on what your child's purpose would might be? If you one of those that just think babies coincidentally come here and there's nothing deeper about it, then I guess you wouldn't understand it. But some of us do believe that every newborn came into this world with a whole purpose. Even if that purpose was just you 20 years later in life, we're going to help an old lady at the bus stop. And had you not been there, nobody else would have been there to help that old lady that day. Even if that was your purpose, you served it 20 years later. So yeah, I just believe some people, the Bible teaches us that better than any other experience in life or anything else we could see or know. It shows us an example of what parents of chosen children might have endured and suffered just so that certain visions would come to pass. I shouldn't say visions, but like certain prophecies had already been spoken pertaining to some of these children before they were even born. I'm not talking about mine personally, we're talking biblically for a second. It was like written generations or eons before these babies were born. So people might ask next, well, how did you know it was that baby when the baby came? Well, what do you mean? God never leaves himself without a witness. There was usually signs, symbols, dreams, all kind of spiritual alerts that would ring when one of these chosen babies were on the way. God gonna let somebody know, hey, one of my chosen finna be born. That's why the three wise men are known to have came and traveled just to see baby Jesus. Just to witness, I'm not going to say his birth, but witness that his birth was valid, that his birth had really happened. It was so sacred to them going to see this new baby Jesus that had been prophesied before many, many years ago. It was so important to them that they told kings about it, and after they visited Jesus and brought all these gifts and stuff too to his parents, they went and wrote about it. What do you mean? You can go write about anything, but they made sure to write and record and leave historical history that yes, we were the three wise men. We went and seen Jesus with our own eyes. That baby was born. They just do that sometimes. Like history is history anyway, but it's more history when it's actually recorded. There's proof left. There's dates. There's time stamps left for you to know what happened. Okay. I wonder how many today take the time to do that. Like they say time, look, you can make like your own homemade time capsule. Maybe get a soda bottle, an old bottle or a jar, and maybe leave some memories in it and put it in a jar and just throw it in the ocean, the river, or bury it in the ground. How else do you leave historical facts for people to understand and know maybe what it was like during your times? Or do we think about that today, right? The last thing I did that was probably special, they call it a balloon release. Well, I don't mean like special, because we do a lot of special things, but when it comes to what I was just trying to describe, like to you just released it in the air, right? A balloon. Or to you just do a newspaper article in a jar and threw it in a river in hopes that one day somebody in the future would see it. so they can know what was going on during your time history, or maybe they have a piece or a clue to put together with other findings. Because how do we think we got across the history a little bit? How did we cross that river? People from before left some type of proof or evidence of what it was like to be them. Once upon a time, feminine products looked different, for example. The things we use today, some of the products we use today, right? I just stay quiet, but people will be like, what? You don't have this product or you don't use that product? First of all, everybody got different skin types, body types, health problems, health risk, because a risk is not a problem, but it's a risk. So it could, if you agitate a risk too much, guess what it turns into? A problem. So we also want to be aware, as far as going into talking about domestic violence awareness this month, that's the thing about risk though. And all I can say, in my opinion, some people will always be more risky than others. So you telling me God don't have power to help a risky person? A risky person's heart and mind is too hard for God. I would say a risky person is probably more usable, even like more coachable. They already take risks, right? God might say, as far as looking on a person like that, like he might not just want to throw them away on the other side of the sea just because you don't know what to do with a risky person. God might say that person ain't risky. That person is right up my alley. That person is full of faith. So you got risky, you got thrill seekers. You got to kind of know who you're entertaining when you're entertaining them too. I'm not talking about just me personally, anybody in the world. Like people who live more on the edge and seek thrills. I'm asking y'all out there tonight, would you say that they're bad people? I wouldn't say anybody is bad because, they're part of what makes evil because they seek just a little more thrill in their life. Even people like that know that they only live once. That's the thing about it. You could look at them as crazy, like this person always seeking a thrill or just doing something that's a little further out there. So we want that person to fear their decisions, because sometimes the parent can feel, because we are talking about divine parenting a little bit, right? We were talking about the movie Moana probably about 10 streams ago, using it as a example of how we can look at life if we need to. Because not everybody has, or sometimes the way you have been taught, it just it didn't work for you. It don't mean what you were taught was wrong. You notice how one teacher can show you how to do something, another teacher show you how to do something, and you learned it better from the second teacher. You just feel like, oh, you taught this so much better to me, or this was a different way. It doesn't mean that the first teacher's way was wrong. Maybe the first teacher's way of teaching it has helped many people. It just didn't help that person. So that's kind of how it is with life lessons sometimes too. I even have to understand, no, it's not promised that I'm ordained to get a message across to everybody absolutely when I need to. There's going to be times that I got that message across, but guess what? The way I delivered that message or the way I taught something maybe didn't help a person. But that don't mean it didn't help other people before. They go for anybody. You have to be understanding that way in life when dealing with people is all I'm trying to say. Like, they might have been taught a way that's not wrong, but it's the way that person was not, they needed another teacher. It don't mean either of the teachers was wrong. Have people ever thought about that? They just quick to call somebody else way wrong, if you ask me, right? But we know something like geometry. It might be 3 different ways that you could teach that. 3 different teaching methods. 3, 4, 5. People normally only teach the way that they use, though. That don't mean that there's not other ways that you can learn more about a certain subject or get more familiar in a certain subject or class or area of something in life. So you can't get irritated or just say, oh, this person dumb because they're not catching on to my way of how I'm trying to teach them something. I have so much love too. I'd be more willing to go learn a new way to show somebody something than to just like, I'm a teacher. My way couldn't help you to pass this challenge. Why would I just stop there? Why not go look for other ways that might be able to help that student, right? Or that person, or that whoever it could be. Your pet, your child, because people train pets. We were talking about that a little bit on yesterday's stream. People train pets too. So it does matter. Trust in relationships, all of it. Everybody like, oh, that's boring. We don't want to hear that for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. But these are the things that we remember that help to prevent us, right, from falling into these type of circumstances to begin with. Because not everybody makes it out of them. It is very serious. I've been actually talking more, right? You have to find ways that people can understand. I felt like it was easy doing that as a advocate in life for me. Everybody else don't have to use that as a part of their work. Some people just do things as hobbies. Y'all know what a hobby is? Some people get so crafted and skilled at a whole hobby though. Like they just play tennis on the weekends. They ain't trying to be no great tennis star, but they happen to be out playing tennis on the weekend. A coach, a scout, or somebody see them out there, invite them to a tournament to come play and train with their team. So hobbies can be turned into full-blown, you turn things into bigger things. People have chess tournaments, all kind of tournaments, y'all. It's like people that take chess, that's serious. Card games, that's serious. That's what they do for a living. They train all day long just to go compete at marathons to win card games and chess game, any kind of game. Games aren't illegal. But as we know, some people bet on them. Maybe that's how some people make their money out here. They just bet on everything, man. It would be unfamiliar to me, because that's crazy. We all know if you can bet on something, you cannot bet on it too. That's the point of a bet. There's a risk. We were just talking about risk. There's always a risk that your bet, you could lose it. That don't stop people from betting though. It just never has. That's what. There's legal gambling and illegal gambling. That's what's crazy about it, because they have whole like lotto tickets and stuff out here where you can just purchase them and gamble. But then they have other games that are legal too. You can play, win money. Y'all betting money out here. And it is crazy to think about. Now, if you already the type of person that live more risk, when we're talking about domestic violence, there can be a weight on the whole family dynamic. Think about it. Yes, that's their own person or individual grown person or a kid or a pet. Anybody who take more risk, they are putting themselves more in a way, I guess you could say, of if it's a risky behavior, like something else happening on the other side, it's like a whole bet. But what are you betting with some things in life? Your whole life, depending on what it is. But if you already know a person have seem like a fluent attachment to risk, why would you get in? I mean, you want to be in a relationship with a person like that? Like, some people might say, oh, it's okay. Like, some people might need whole therapy and counseling for that. Like, why do you just go out there and take risks every day? But at the same time, positive things have come through people's life, being willing to do that. So, of course, the enemy, when we look at it in a spiritual realm or at a higher consciousness, let me start saying it like that. If you look at it from this angle, the enemy wants you to fear risk in a way like, yeah, something could happen. This could happen, that could happen, this might backfire, that might pop off. That's not how we're supposed to just 100% look at risk in life anyway. Now you got to be willing to take some. Every morning somebody wake up and get in their car just to drive to work, they're taking a risk. You're risking your life getting on the road, getting in this mechanical vehicle. Once again, even if it's just to drive a quick stop, a quick errand to the hair salon, or it's just crazy. Like, it's not promised even on your way to get your car fixed. Let's say the tow man taking your car. It ain't even promised he can't lose his life. That's how much of a risk even getting in the vehicle and driving a car every day is, if you really think about it. It's just a risky behavior. But it has become a normalized part of society today. Now, we just have to collectively come together and think about it. Like, now, what risk? Who are we to say what risk? Of course, some are automatic risky behaviors. It depends on what it is. But usually, a person that will practice those alone, they'll practice them with you. They'll practice them around you. I mean, they practice risky behaviors on a regular. Do 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 do. But risky behaviors do not always lead people to, like, what do you mean? Some risky behaviors can be positive. Like, you might not go pitch your business every day, door to door. The next person might do that. It's a risk. Like, they could end up putting all their time investing, pitching their business speech every day and get no business at all. But guess what? Them taking that risk is putting them out there to maybe get 3 or 4 people to talk to them at their doors about their business. That's what a pitch is. You give people the chance to, if they, want to hear more about what you might be trying to sell or express yourself about or tell them about, that is an example of a positive risk that people could take if they want to, more positive ones. Marriage was always known, I guess, as a positive risk in life to most people, but it is still a risk. It still falls in the category of what a risk would be. Now, what you're risking might vary. I said marry again. Might vary, but we all know there's usually compromises that come with those type of agreements, and it is a risk. The only risk is it's not promised the relationship might work out or go on forever. I mean, but at least you see people do at least take that step. Like, hey, I was willing to get married. That's what's crazy. I said it's crazy. Even like, it's just evil people. They be married too. It just seemed like love is that one thing that everybody just want a piece of at the end of the day, even if they never say it. Like, I've watched a lot of romantic movies too, but I've watched a lot of cartoon movies too. Even in there, they like love, they share love, they express love. Uh, and I think that it's beautiful. But in Hercules, the Hades guy who had fiery hair and everything, he had the beautiful girlfriend, accomplice, sidekick, which she really wasn't that. He was just kind of forcing her to be with him pretty much. I think he had bound the girl to him, but that's what made Hercules' story a big deal in a movie, because he ends up, of course, stealing the girl from this whole evil guy. But it just showed, even the evil guy, he felt like he deserved a nice, beautiful young lady. Like, bro, you are busy destructing, causing chaos, trying to take over Hercules' dynasty and everything over here. He was secretly cooking up a plan to be able to do that. We saw the same thing with Plankton on SpongeBob. We ain't even talking about executing it, like just cooking up a plan. Plankton, he's usually cooking it up. He'll tell you like, I tried plan A, now we're going to plan B, we're going to plan C, we're going to plan D. Plankton to go through all the alphabet of plans. And that's just coming up with the plan. That ain't him actually coming to the Krabby the Krabby Patty trying the plans out, trying to test them and see. But yeah, guys, I just was inspired to come back and talk about the divine parenting. That's my name, my creative content name for this audio segment here. That's another thing. People forgot that, like, I have whole on other platforms. That's what it is. Ain't nobody over there doing videos. Everything is straight audio, like podcast channels. Nobody's showing. Pretty much. I just want to say that much. And it's a lot of different creatives out there too. And they're audio segments, just like this right here. It ain't always about who you see sitting at the round table, like the Red Talk round table that some of these shows got. Like, oh, we want to see who talking. Sometimes it's just an audio segment. What do you think the radio was when people used to listen to the local radio stations before we had all this audio books and all this kind of technology today? You had the radio. The radio was one of the first electronic advancements. It actually was. Even if it was just for like communications, walkie-talkies, those were like early inventions before all of these other communications. So anyways, we know good and well with a walkie-talkie, you can never see the other person you're talking to. Or the other person that might be pushing forth the message, right? They have these messages. That's the point of walkie-talkies. You could never see the person you know who you're talking to. Just like the phone. Before it was camera and video chat and all this stuff you could do. The phone used to just be, you're talking to that person. With no AI voice. They probably like, why is she bringing it up? This and that, because they just think they going to create stuff and then throw that in everything. No, you're just reminding people when it comes to domestic violence awareness too. Like, that's a part of advancements too then. Not everybody choose to use video chat, video stream, videos on cameras and stuff. We know this. Just ask a person, just them in the room. Do you like putting yourself on the internet with camera and video? You'll find out a lot. That usually shows, I guess that's why it's about illusion a little bit. That shows when it comes, people think it's just about how much content is that's the point of going viral. Like, if you didn't post it first, it's not you going viral, is it? It's whoever created the content. Some people did not. They wasn't trying to be famous or none of that. They just use social media because it's a common thing that people do. There are billions of users on every one of these different platforms. It's just crazy to think about. Like, so it is worth talking about too. With, like I said, with domestic violence awareness too. People just understanding, like, everybody don't want to show their life and face and body on cameras and stuff. Even the celebrities, they've been trying to preach that, but everybody don't want to show all that. You can do a podcast, a radio station, you can never see them. You riding in the car listening to the radio. A walkie-talkie, you can't see the person, but they are still communicating a message through their walkie-talkie. What else is another example? We know that written content, you can't see who produced it at that moment. It might just leave you the writer's name, the reporter's name, the author's name, or whoever's story it was. That's it. You don't get to see, like, oh, who is this person right then and there? See, people done got spoiled. Like, what's wrong with them? That's all I look at it and laugh. Cause I remember the days there was totally communication out here. Like you can't see everybody, especially with the pagers and beepers, right? With those, it's just like a beep code. That's why it's called a beeper. It might say beep beep beep. Everybody have a different. You could change the ringers on it. I think that's as much as you could do. You could buy one with a loud ringer. I miss those. Maybe I need one of those, man. I'm gonna have to try. I said I miss them like I just used them, but I miss those times. Let me say that. Cause for real, I mean, social media times is cool too. The people are spoiled. One of the last, I ain't gonna say times, but one of the last seasons that I even paid social media any attention like that, people had already got to the level, whether you knew them or not. But that's what made it strange. Like people just, I said, boy, they should have never made that video call feature on some of these messaging systems because people have gotten spoiled. They think they can just video call you. Now, of course, you can just reject it or like swipe it away. If it's a whole stranger, you'd be like, what the? Or like a fake, or just a profile, because everybody don't be friends with their followers or know them personally. Like they followers or everybody don't be knowing them people. So no, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm a fan. Let me." You know how many fans try to call real celebrities every day, just hoping that they can get this celebrity attention. It's really like that. They said with some of these guys, it be women just calling all the time talking about they have babies by them, and they be lying. And if they just wasted time paying attention to every call, how do you have time to keep your empire going or whatever? Yeah. You're gonna have people calling, oh, I'm this person to this person, I'm that person. That's what I could just imagine what celebrities be going through with that. Yeah, we had a baby back in '98. And some of the ladies probably be telling the truth, but that's the thing. You're not just getting like easy access in her like that. Like just saying Cardi B or saying like, boy, if your name if your name ain't on the list, and that's just how what that turns into in certain levels of people's lives. But even if it ain't at that level, I'm saying how social media must have made people feel like, oh, I can just access a person. That's crazy, bro. And you just trying to show people like, hey, bro, it can go back to old times. Like, just access a person through that. That's crazy, bro. Like, through things like, we understand a message or a chat, but like, you just straight out of nowhere video calling a person. Y'all know it's weirdos out there that, well, women, we probably see it sometimes. Like, we can even show, that's, because when you're single, that's different to me. Like, y'all know it's whole IG models and stuff like that out there. And it's like, you might draw attention on the internet like that. But I feel like it's more respectable in a relationship, like at least see how your partner feel about it. Because I feel like it just be unnecessary domestic violence situations in the world in people's households going on that don't even have to be going on. Like you had those kind of discussions at the beginning. The beginning could seem like, when I say the beginning, I mean if y'all know y'all trying to go towards the direction of a relationship and be committed to each other. All of that. Why wouldn't you talk about how y'all know social media is a real part of the world? 9 times out of 10, these days you could have met on there, or you could have already been connected on there, or one of y'all have a follower or a friend on there that know each other. That's how connected really it connects people. People be like, social media connect people. It's such a great thing, right? Or is it? Like, because every pro has a con, every con has a pro. But they say it's just like a good thing. Like, it helped. That's one of the top 10 things that has changed in the world. Like, you can access person, like people like that, like just through a message or just through an instant messenger. Like, you can't blame that on no one person. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna put it on this person. That's cool. It's like, but that person didn't create social media. That person didn't create that or even have a seat at the table when you were discussing rolling it out. Now, yes, people do have to be held accountable, if you ask me, of their behavior in the internet streets and stuff like that too. Because guess what? That's what I was talking about. I feel like households, relationships, all that stuff probably really have been affected since social media ran out. Because, like I said, other communications before that wasn't no. You could just easily access video chat somebody. That wasn't even a thing yet on the regular communities and streets. You had to either page them on a beeper, call them from a payphone or a house phone or a business phone, or you could pick up maybe communications through radios, walkie-talkies, stuff like that, like I said. And it had to have an antenna back then. Because how else are you picking up on the signals back then before technology was boom, boom, boom? And it all has its own place, but you couldn't just call like, oh, hey, it's a video chat. Let me video ring you. If you do answer for most people that answer for a video chat, like if it's for work or these are people you know, like that's understandable. That's not what I'm talking about. It be whole strangers out there, just a whole like friend request you, and people think that's normal. They're just, oh yeah, I want to be your friend on this social media platform. Let me send you a request. It used to be fun when it first came out, because it's like, oh, that's such a, oh, okay. And you adding everybody on, adding your followers just because they use the same, but people don't always have to do that. They hold a circle on there if they want it to be, because I'll argue this challenge with anybody on any day. Like, if a person want to make a whole brand new social media, right, and they new followers and everything is all people they don't know, like, why wouldn't people want to see you do that? It ain't even a business. But if it were a conversation, it wouldn't always mean that it's a personal reason. That person did that. They had a personal reason with you. They blocked you on a platform, or they blocked you because on the social media platforms, to me, that's different. Blocking somebody, and that's why that blocking feature is kind of weird. Like, how did you block people before all that came out, right? Like, if you just didn't deal with somebody, you didn't deal with them. Wasn't no social media block button where it's like you letting a person know through an emotion a whole nother way. Like, oh, I'm blocking you on social media. Like, if you don't add them on there already, but y'all know a lot of them, it'll say people you know. It'll recommend you certain profiles or accounts and stuff like that. And you can even, a recommendation is just that. You have a choice to say no thanks, or decline, or reject, or no, I don't want this offer, no thanks. It'll usually give you that option. That's the point of a recommendation. You don't have to take it. That's another thing about recommendations too. Like, they have what they call a strong recommendation, like, or it's coming from a high, like a reputable, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you may know this person, you may know this account, you might like this. We thought you might like this. Do you think those suggestions are healthy for people? Do they make things so convenient that people get spoiled in a way? Now they feel like everything and everybody should come to them like that. Oh, I just want to video chat you. Like, if you don't know a person, they ain't even got to be a celebrity. If you don't know them, why are you video calling? Why are you video calling them on social media? I haven't gone through that. I'm just saying I'm saying I probably have before, but it ain't nothing that I'm currently, if anybody must know. Because even if I was using certain platforms for personal use or something like that, I wouldn't just answer a stranger's video call. Like, but you might have saw it with some people's profile. Some people, like I say, you deal with it how you deal with it, because you don't have to deal with it all. It's called the block button. It's just called the block button. It's just the real world of the internet, though. You can't just see a person calling your man or woman on social media and be like, accuse them, like, oh, you're cheating. You do know people just do that too. Some will do it to be, they'll do it just to be messy. Like, call, don't let them get your person phone number through some kind of way. They'll call, text, beep them on social media, all of that. Just to get y'all beefing. You must know this. You have to make sure that you're in it to win it and for the long run with some of these situations, because people will do that. Just to make it look like, yeah, I'm calling your man, I'm calling your woman. You know. And it's just really scary because anybody can make a profile these days. Literally, anybody. Y'all remember that one thing where they was like, oh, Nicki Minaj supposed to have text, not text, but posted these different comments or whatever, her and Cardi B going back and forth on Twitter or whatever. It was Twitter, IG, one of them. And I was reminding people then, y'all do know people sit there and hold, if they hack your account, they can post whatever and make it look like you posted it. You know, or you came at a person that way. It's just a real dangerous way for people to play. Y'all see what people be on out here? Not saying that's what happened with Nicki Minaj's situation, but it is a possibility. Now, some people, they just willing to stand behind their words too. If it was them that posted it or them that texted, that's something I've been noticed. Like, who created that weird game of like, oh, if I hack the account or if I just create one like I'm that person, that's a weird game to play with people. But if you already have, because I feel like situational awareness is important in internet streets too. If you already have that kind of knowledge, like, you know not to just answer video call, or if you know a person in a way like they not the type, they just gonna video call you. They gonna make sure you know you finna get a, you know what I'm saying? Like, I done talked about it or something. There's other ways to reach people if you know them. But people would know, you know, they wouldn't know like, oh, this person don't like, that's what I'm saying. You would know if a person know a person. That person ain't even a type to just answer random out the blue video calls. Like, it depends on who it is with some people. It just depends on who it is, right? You're not gonna find too much evidence that, like, the real who I really am. I would have to look at all of that with everybody. Like, let me see what you say you got where I was video calling people. Because it depends on who you are to me. If I do that, if it ain't for work, business, or yeah, like, why would I just be on a video call with somebody? I don't know. To me, that's like personal. It's too up close and personal. Like, randomly calling people, be randomly calling and randomly video calling people out of here. And what's crazy, the person calling you could be a scam account. So it's not good to just answer random. I don't know if anybody will be out there, but you got to teach your children too, because they'll just like, these predators think it's fishing season or something out here. Like, they'll just throw the bait out there. Like, adult would know, yeah, I ain't finna answer no random call, but a kid might, you see? And they want you to, like, suffer because those are the facts. You shouldn't even be contacting people you don't know that way. So it is crazy. I knew I wasn't tripping when I saw that became a part of, I'm like, boy, they just done messed social media all up. But it had, to me, it had a good run. Like, wives, with everything else, they found ways to sit here and just straight up abuse it, right? And that's just crazy because they also leaked over into people's homes and households in family lives, in relationships. When it first came out, like, you knew people were people. It wasn't too many people doing it yet. Like, it wasn't the first thing that came to people's mind. Like, oh, let us scam accounts. To me, it shows more and more and more, like, how the economy doing, or maybe I can just see it from a certain level. But like, the crazier people scams get, to me, it showed something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are people getting worse with like the the kind of scams? Because just imagine you scam a whole family. What are you taking that family through? It ain't promised that every wife, every husband, every child just gonna stick through every burden of the family. You see what I'm saying? And people want to make it like it ain't. There's no possibility it can be real that people intentionally put burdens in front of people. Cause people already know this about burdens. It's not promised that everybody who really say they with you just gonna stay. Them are your burdens. Even if somebody placed them to you, you didn't even deserve them. Like, but they still yours at that moment. So it's not always promised that due to whatever your burdens is, like all your A1 day one, everybody gonna be there. They just gonna stick through. That thing about life. Burdens do more. Like, people just look at the burden and what it feel like. Like, no, what's happening around you as you going through that burden. That's what I'm looking at. Like, what's happening? Not saying everybody should be running to everybody rescue every time. You got to let people learn to be a little more self-sufficient, or guide them in that way. If you is gonna be around them, you should be helping them do that, and in a positive way, of course. But it's not okay. So what I was saying about burdens is, because it's just inspirational, real quick. It's not promised that every burden you go through, like everybody you started with before that burden, that's the thing about them. So who want to go around just picking those up? The first step is recognizing what one is. Like, it's a whole burden to you. That ain't something you enjoy when it's a burden. That's something that you would be carrying. You know what Jesus, if it's a such thing as he carried one, he carried everybody's when he had to carry that cross. And everything Jesus went through going up there, most people wouldn't have wanted to suffer that way. That's the thing about it. You can say you're a non-believer all you want to, but when you think about that, or whatever you are in life, would you have wanted to suffer that way? And so many of them didn't want to. They showed that. They end up denying Christ. Like, when it was all going down, and they was like, weren't you one of the ones with them? And stuff like that along the way, and people was calling them out like that. They didn't want to seem associated with, or like they knew the man, but to me, I'm not saying it's right. It was like understandable. You being a human being, you're not thinking about faith in that moment. You in a moment of fear. They asked me right then, while they beating them up, like, hey, yeah, didn't you used to hang out with him? Right there in that moment, yeah, your faith being tested. And they asking you about Jesus Christ. And they like, no, we don't know him. No, that ain't me. Yeah, that's you, Peter. No, my name's something else. Oh, okay. And that don't mean it didn't break their heart to have to pretend that they didn't know somebody that they had became so endeared with and to. Yeah, just imagine. But anyways, maybe people don't feel me because if they never been through that, it does sound crazy to just like associate it with domestic violence awareness, right? Because what is wrong with a person like standing up, or what would have happened if Peter and them was like, yeah, we was with Jesus, now what, what would have happened? Or what could have changed the dynamics, or did it all play out just exactly how it was meant to? That didn't stop Jesus from still putting his disciples on game about what he felt like was necessary. while he walked with them. Notice it's like even the Bible is trying to show us it's only about the relationship so far. It has to be deeper than a relationship at some point. Because they say some people you can meet and y'all become close like you've been knowing each other 10 years. Others you can meet um, and you've been knowing them all your life and y'all just can't get along. So life is real like that when we're talking about domestic violence awareness. It's not promised, once again, just because your burdens are your burdens, everybody in the world gonna stick with you through each and every one of your burdens. Sometimes they yours alone to carry. Not saying anybody should be willingly carrying them out here, but there's gonna be seasons where they're yours alone. But don't just let it be like, oh, this a burden. What are you seeing? What are you seeing around you as you're trying to overcome that burden? What are you saying about yourself? What are you saying about others? Not to get people like, she right. Nobody cares about our burdens, but that's pretty much what I'm saying. And then if you got so many burdened people, people wouldn't have time for each other burdens no more. They'll be too distracted by like, oh, we all got burdens. You come together. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but you come together because see, everybody being divided by their burdens, that sounds troublesome too. And you just come to God one day and say, well, we all couldn't do it because we was all burdened. We all end up with so many stack of burdens. There was nothing we could do for each other burdens no more. It's like, how does it even turn to that? It's just a question. As a country, as a nation, as personal families out here in relationships, like, how do one person carry a burden so much they no longer have time for others and other things, and the other things become so burdened and the other people become so burdened that they no longer have time for that person. I don't believe in it. The devil is a liar. So everybody just suddenly divided by burdens. It would seem like the best way to execute a solution about that is to easing the burdens, right? But what if you couldn't? Or what if you can't? That's what's keeping people divided. What if they feel like they can't? Wouldn't you say it's okay for burdens to strengthen you though, or teach you something? So now as they come, you still don't have to be divided or whatever. Like that shouldn't be the only reason. Like I'm this burdened, so I'm distant from people. I'm this burdened, so I can no longer do this, or I'm separated from that. Because I thought burdens were seasonal, you know what I mean? But some people feel like they do have more permanent burdens, right? It's people that live with disabilities, all kind of different life issues every day. And our topics that you would make your TV won't be for everybody because not everybody wants to think about what everybody else might. It's a very unselfish act too. Nobody even asks you, but you wake up every day and actually choose to remember that no matter what you're going through, somebody always going through something worse. Literally, you just woke up. Somebody else didn't sleep all night long. You just woke up. Somebody else didn't make it through their surgery last night. You just woke up. Somebody else went to bed and they had to hear the neighbors arguing and fighting all night. You just never know what people are going through. Domestic Violence Awareness Month, ladies and gentlemen. And when we talk about awareness, it's like I said, to me, the preventative topics, the preventative tips and advice is the best thing that you can give, because if you don't end up in that situation at all, awareness is still important. You can see somebody else going through it. Like, what are those signs you might see on somebody else? And you know what's crazy, y'all? They said one of the number one signs something is going on with a person, even if an animal is acting like this, like just more withdrawn. sitting by themselves. It could be normal with a pet or animal sometimes. We ain't talking about wild animals. They be alone all the time. We talking about like a pet that's usually hanging out with everybody, like usually running around. Pets, even when they see other dogs, they gonna bark at each other. They're gonna interact with people. Like, it's a common nature thing for humans to do. If you see somebody more withdrawn, it's just sometimes it can be a whole sign of red flag. That's what they call it. It could be a red flag. Like, so people try to be so careful that maybe sometimes they're too careful. Like this guy, he had adopted a different race of child. And he talked about going through judgment everywhere he went. Because people just ask him questions like, sir, is that your, I could just imagine. Like, I'm getting a secondhand embarrassment thinking about it, because that can't be easy when you know you got the papers, you know that you raised this child and take care of this child every day. But they just was like questioning him. He even recorded it. When he go places, they'll be like, who is this child to you, or where's her parents? And it was a little girl that he adopted. Ain't that something? And she was just comfortable with him, laughing and having a good time. Like, they like, little girl, are you okay? Do you need help? Like, literally doing this man like this in public. See, people do try to be careful. Like, hey, I'm not trying to overstep because I might not know fully what the situation is. But then you have the scenarios where because they didn't ask, they could have helped somebody out of a situation, and it really was that. So it's like, what do you do? Some people, they just on field trips with the kids, right? Or it just could be any situation. But of course, red flags are red flags too. If it's a kid or an adult or animal, if they act more withdrawn, very few people just say, I'm going to withdraw myself away from everybody. Very few people act like Wednesday on the Addams Family. Just naturally. They might begin to, it comes out that way, like certain traumas, or you just feel more comfortable alone. They say they could be, so that's just one of those though, guys. A person that, some people, they get married and they move far away together, and the person phone number change everything. They change their whole life just because they got married. They'll change their whole life, like. But some say they could be a sign that something is wrong. Like, why would he or she want you away from your whole family and everything you ever knew? They could look at this as suspicious, like, hey, usually we used to having this person around. Why this person whole life change after marrying you? Some people I don't care what you tell them about it. Hey, I'm in love now. I'm choosing to do everything I'm doing. To them, though, and they feel like they know a prior version of you before that relationship, you know. Because I think abusers think, that's another thing. That's why we talked about withdrawing. They say they be more withdrawn because that's how the abuser likes the person. They just feel like they have them more in a secret place where they can do what they're doing to them out of the light. So yes, I believe some of us, that's our exact purpose. To everywhere you walk, there go the light. People thought, oh, that's just a sign of trauma and stuff. Like, no, that's actually intentionally done sometimes by abusers too. So you have the side where they withdraw them and stuff and have them more isolated for those reasons. And then you have the side where you more like that because just some people have to live a more protective lifestyle. Like, we talked about what a risky one might look like already. What's the other side of risky? Ain't no in between. What, you step out, have a little fun sometimes, but it's either you live in a risky lifestyle or you live in a very safe, healthy one, in my opinion. Like the best healthy version of one that you could be living. Because if you're already doing that before you're in a relationship, that was what I was wondering. How do two healthy, balanced people coming together end up in so much chaos and disaster? Like, how does that happen? Two well balanced people who already know what they want in life, already, we're not going to say established or perfect or already made it in life, but sometimes maybe you're just more balanced. Both of y'all was balance headed. You felt like you knew what you wanted going forward. Most people do with marriage and relationship contracts, even with their children. Just because you playing some, you playing how you think they life gonna be, because everybody not gonna be like Michael Jordan daddy or Michael Jackson's daddy even, right? You could have a plan to try to like, no, kid, you're going this way. But that's why parents do it that way. Their kid cannot say, like, oh, nobody tried to guide me or give me any skills or tools to use in life so I could become a successful adult. They made them go, those children go the direction. Or you could argue that no, that was Michael Jackson's purpose. That was Michael Jordan's purpose. He was always born to be a famous basketball star. How could you say that? These people, parents, forced them pretty much into those lifestyles. You see what I'm saying? Is that really like, oh, you were chosen or that was your purpose? Or was that more, parents feel like they do know what's best for their children for the most part. They're going to try to do their best to know what's best for their children. Most parents. This topic is called divine parenting. This is just part one though, y'all. I said I'm going to bring the reactions back to back for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And y'all might say, what domestic violence got to do? Because when families are going through that, yes, it trickles down. It affects the kids, the pets, the grandkids, everybody. One divorce might affect one kid different than the next. They said even therapists have already admitted that divorces can be hard for children. If you know the woman could be hurting or the man could be hurting, imagine what the children are going through. And it's not always because like, oh, they broke up. It's just the simple fact that children can feel. People want to talk about that. Okay, let's talk about it. Children can feel their parents, guys, whether you believe it or not. They were with their mom in there for 9 months. And some of the babies knew dad while they were in the womb. They felt his touch. They heard his voice and stuff like this. But with the moms, for sure, those babies can feel your emotion. They think they just stop after the umbilical cord is cut. No, they like forever can feel their parents. Now, if they choose to like ignore that or probably not pay more prevalent attention to it, that's another discussion. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna be able to feel. Ain't nobody. That's what I feel like people be trying to do. Like, oh, I want the bond they got. Okay, if you're not that person's daughter, how you gonna have the bond they got? Or if you're not the person's sister, how you gonna have the bond they got? If you're not the person's best friend, how you got the bond that they got? If you're not the person's wife or husband, how you gonna have the same bond, same exact relationship that they have? They tried to make it like it's impossible for one person to have like different relationships with people. But this is how you break it down for them. All those people you could possibly have relationships with, wouldn't each and every one of them look different because they're whole different relationship dynamics? You might have a beer with your dad, but you might not do that with grandma because you know grandma don't drink. How that make you fake? Maybe people just envy that. Like, you're able to spread even cards. They come in a whole deck, but they're a family. They're a family. They're all different trades and they're all different brands, but they're going to have the same exact number of cards in every pack that you buy. And all of them going to be different. Oh no, yeah, I'm trying to find a way to say it, but that's exactly what it is too in a lot of families. Like, people can hold envy relationships you have with people. Just because a person could envy your relationship with your sister don't mean they envy. They might like seeing you and your husband together. They just envy that one. Like, I just feel like they are so close as sisters. They are so pretty. They do everything. Or just imagine with some of these celebrities with sisters and brothers, sometimes they show them, not the celebrities, but like the media, like, oh, we caught such and such with their sibling out today. And people actually do be interested in, like, oh, that's such and such sister, like, oh, she pretty, and we're not gonna play like a beautiful sister bond is not something that could be hated on in the world, or a sibling bond, or any type of relationship. Why are we talking about that? Not to be messy, but it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. These are the type of things that open doors to discord too within families. Like, people just have to understand that you're not mocking nobody. You just saying, like, there's no way to possibly have the same type of relationship you would have with, like, what do you know what a relationship is? They all have different titles. Like, that's you and your sibling, that's you and your parent, that's you and your child, that's you and your pet. You wouldn't treat your child like you treat your pet, would you? I mean, I'm sure you would love both of them, but it wouldn't be the same. You would love and protect and provide both of them, because most people love their pets. But you're not going to sit there and literally take care of your child like you take care of your pet. That's two different relationships. Amen out there in the chat, somebody. Y'all leave that in the chat. But this is true. Or leave it in the comments. And we do thank you guys for your support. But just giving new inspiration from new angles that anybody could take from anywhere across the globe. That shouldn't be something that could be easily infiltrated like that. Like, family, let's go back. I was saying last night, people just say that scripture and be like, yep, that's what's going on. They be like, it say in the last days there were going to be mothers against daughters, fathers against sons. It say that in the book of Revelations, y'all. It said a lot of things that people feel like, oh yeah, those things are transpiring before our eyes today. But my opinion is, it wasn't put in the Bible. That's like, oh, this is a sign it might rain. It might be cloudy. It might have clouds and all of this. Okay, that I still wouldn't take from that might be a sign. But why would you settle for it? If you see mothers against daughters, fathers against sons going on, you just going to sit back and watch it go on? And then wonder why domestic violence rates are increasing? And seeing siblings and stuff fight each other? No, it's first everybody understanding every relationship is not going to be just like the other one. Well, I notice you give Uncle Bobby more money than you give Cousin Joe. That be people mentalities. I noticed that with your ex, you used to rub his feet. With me, it's like some of this stuff you like, how did you even find out? Where did you hear that at? And that's life too, because people will brag, talk, or whatever you want to call it, gossip too. But they might compare what they feel like you do in one relationship for another, or how you talk. It ain't even what you do in relationships all the time, because they do say actions speak louder than words. But you might even talk the same to a certain person as you do to another one. But they'll turn around and call you fake. Girl, when we talk, she talks like this. Well, who are you to me? Oh, when she talked to her Uncle Bobby, she talked like this. Well, that's my Uncle Bobby. This is the this is the side of me he sees. The niece side. If that's my uncle, I'm a niece, right? Why would I act like anything else but myself and your niece? And that's all I can be. That's all I can be. Like, I can't be your niece. I can be your niece, his daughter, her cousin, his sister, and all this shit at the same time. But still, each and every one of those relationships would be different. And I saw that for a long time in life. Like, I just felt like God showed me a lot about, you can really more understand. Like, where do you have time to get mad? The more you understand, the less you fear. And you just feel more empowered. Like, because I know I'm not wrong. Ain't no way all your relationships in life should look exactly the same, and then people saying if it don't, you're fake. You're fake. Because we don't all have the same thing on the piece of paper about who you are, it has to be some fishy or suspicious about you. Well, that's what's fishy and suspicious. You expecting a person to be the same person to everybody. I wouldn't be probably as gentle. I would, I guess, like with a grown woman as I would be with like they both female, but one a little bitty baby and one a grown woman. Like, why would I treat y'all exactly the same? You're not. Both of y'all could be my sister too, cause I know all about age gaps in life. What you would call age gaps or age spaces with people, with close people to you. You know what I'm saying? So both of y'all could be my sister. One sister grown, one sister too. Why would I treat y'all the same? Of course, I love y'all the same. Both of y'all my sister, but one is the little bitty baby sister. You might be a little bit more protective over her than you would be over your big sister. But you still would probably, feel the type of way somebody mess with your big sister. When somebody mess with their baby sister, you just feel go more in protective mode. Like, that. Anyways, y'all get what I'm saying. Like, you can be the same thing to, like, oh, that's your wife. That's my wife too. Oh, so she the same to both of y'all. Or that's my daughter. We share a daughter. Okay, why would I expect your relationship with the other parent to be just like the one with mine? Even if we were in the same household, you have to teach people what relationship in the family dynamic. You just gonna tell the child that's your grandma and that's all they know for the rest of their life. That's great to know where you come from and who your family members are, but are you teaching what relationships are again? Are you teaching like that it's okay to share a tight bond with your best friend just like you might have with your sister? You just got to understand that's your sister, that's your best friend. The only way your best friend become your sister is if one of the parents adopt her or one of her parents adopt you. You can call each other sis all you want to, sis, sister. It'll just never ever be another relationship on the globe like that. People be trying to really squeeze themselves in places like, yeah, I want that same thing she got with that person. You'll be surprised what people be watching. It ain't always about the tangible, like, oh, I want that person car, I want that person's shoes, which is called coveting. That's not even envy. That's just going straight to coveting. Like, I want that, and they mean it. You didn't even want it till you saw another person with it. You was content with your life. You liked what you liked. But now you saw what that person had, you want that. And people be wanting things that they don't sell at the store. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, they want, oh, y'all talk every night. Y'all real close. I want that. They not talking about you or the other person. They just saying they want that. They want, you can't buy that at the store. How close you is with a person? How let me just say close. Close was the best word, because depending on how close you are, that shows like what y'all do, how y'all be around each other. Do y'all have inside jokes? All of that really tells people a lot about your relationship with somebody. They call it an inside joke for a reason. You done got pretty familiar with somebody if y'all got an inside joke. It's something that people find special. I don't know, even enemies though. Some people that don't like each other have inside jokes with one another, and it's crazy. They don't even like each other. But if them two around at the same time and that inside joke come up, both of them probably gonna laugh, and they don't even like each other. You see, that's how deep relationships can be. You just telling people, oh, that's my cousin, that's my, okay, teach people what relationships are. That even something like long distance relationship is real. People be on the phone with their wife and husband from miles away, depending on what kind of job they got, especially if their husband or wife is a pilot or a train conductor or some type of mine worker where they work under the ground or in the army. They don't see their loved ones all the time, but you gonna tell them they don't love their loved ones? Some of them they do. They even cheat on the side, but they going back home to their family every time they get to leave work. They have families. Anyways, there's all kind of levels of relationships that people put the effort into to keep. Now, those that we're born into, there's nothing you can really do to untie that. Like I said, unless you get adoptions or custody, things change. It is what it is. Like you just that it's unheard of for somebody to just be like, yeah, I want papers done, so I'm not the whole family no more. Like that's kind of unheard of. Most people only do that with like divorces, or they just move on with their life. Nobody goes that far to prove that they not related to somebody no more, or they just never been, or whatever. Well, people will go that far. Like they're that's what our segment was about last night. Like more fathers doing DNA tests. It was just a little old documentary I watched recently. Uh, More fathers were going to the child support office, putting themselves on child support, and I thought it was beautiful. We went from seeing society say they should just cut it off, because in some states they don't do that. Like the state has a right to pick up whatever it is, I guess. In some states, you could say, "Oh, I don't want it." Because some people I heard that they got it, they were able to drop the child support. They were able to get it cut off some kind of way. But some states, people don't want to or have to. Believe me, they do not just do that like that. Or it could get cut off. But I think even the back pay, they'll still try to make you pay like whatever it built up to at the point that it's getting cut off. It's different things to that. Now, of course, if the it's some weird things out here that people have already probably thought about. Like, oh, well, if the mom died or the child died, like they'll just try to create ways. That's why I say child support is dangerous, because you have people, in my opinion, willing to go that far. Now, I ain't seen no crime stories about it yet, but it was a crime story on TV about a guy taking his baby mother's life over a stimulus check. She wouldn't give him some of the money, which was a stupid story to me at the time, but still, God rest her soul. I know it was a real story. I'm talking about the situation was just so stupid. I was angry to hear about that story, actually. He, because it was just stupid. Like, everybody was getting a stimulus check, bro. Like, all you had to do was call the office and wait on yours. And it was even people out here helping people to make sure they could get their taxes straight so they can receive their stimulus check. I know it was, because just know I worked around them and they were helping people. It's as simple as letting people know, hey, you have to go on this website or you have to go in the office and update your address. Because if you didn't file taxes, there was no debit card from the previous year or bank account that they could deposit it into. So if you didn't file taxes, you had to go online to the IRS website at the time and fill out this thing. They had a form on there you could fill out if you hadn't filed taxes or if you don't file taxes. So you could still get your stimulus check. That's why the story was crazy to me. He had to be a young man that nobody had explained it to, because, like, bro, you just gonna take it from her and then take her life, and that's the child mama? But they did catch him, to my understanding, this particular story. Like, because that's crazy. Another story we saw on the crime network was a lady had used her PPP loan money to pay somebody to hurt her baby daddy's girlfriend or her ex's baby mama, stuff like that. It wasn't even just what you did with that story. It was like what you used to do it. That money was out during the pandemic to help people with their businesses. Like, look at the kind of stuff people choose to mess up for people. So you gonna take, cause I think, what was it, like $20,000 at a time businesses was getting? So yeah, business is getting this money. You take 10,000 of the 20, 5,000. Call yourself putting a hit on somebody, man. And I think with this story, the girl was she was just getting ready to take her baby to school or daycare. And that's what was sad about it too. Like, people just don't care. Like, you had the baby with you. You trying to walk to your car. You're in your vicinity. You're at home. You're leaving to do what you're supposed to do, which is be a mother and take that baby to school. But still, we reverence these stories on a level of awareness. It's Domestic Violence Awareness Month this October. And these are like some of the women you're talking about that's not here right now. And with both of these stories, it's like, yeah, money was involved. Money and the kid. To me, that makes it different. Because, come on, man. You took her life because she didn't want to give you. That means he knew she was getting a stimulus check. But everybody knew we were getting those during the pandemic. So you can't ask for something that. Or why would a person randomly ask for some money right after you got some type of check or deposit? That's going to tell you a lot. If you didn't tell that person you finna get that type of money or it's coming or you waiting on it, why would they just ask you for some money right around the time? That's something we can still take from and learn from right now. Any one of us. If somebody just randomly, I don't care, during these days, they randomly just like, hey, can I have $20 right after you just got some money? How is that not telling you something? Like, and you didn't tell them that you getting it. But like I said, this money was different because like the whole country was like, Trump had signed the order for everybody to get it. But it is crazy that like that's just the stories that was reported. Like, how much of that really went on? It was stories of people stealing mail. They had started doing it. Remember, y'all? They started doing it. Amazon pages and mail, thinking they finna sit here and cash people's stimulus checks, and they're so stupid. Maybe that's when a lot of that identity fraud started anyway too. Cause why would they go as far as trying to steal the mail or the checks? If you steal the check, you got to have a intention of cashing it. So boom, hopefully I'm looking at it right. You know what I'm saying? Because people totally sat there in the middle of a national emergency and still abused the assistance. Like, that just made things look ghetto where it don't have to. They already giving you stimulus check money. Now, that ain't your baby mama fault. You got to wait on your own. People saying, oh, I didn't file my taxes, so I can't get one. I was one of them people trying to tell them it doesn't matter. Your taxes don't matter. This is where you go tell them where your new address is so they can mail it to you. I think I heard even people in jail got them. I don't want to be wrong, but I think everybody got one. Even if you was in jail, it was crazy. I need to double check that. I need to fact check that because I don't want y'all quoting me that I said it was exactly. But I do think even if you was out during, even in jail, if you got out of jail, you had a stimulus check. It's some people probably still got one and they don't know about it. That's how serious that was. And I guess he asked her for some money. The girl didn't want to give her some of the money. She probably did try to tell him, go apply for your own, like go get your own or whatever. But she didn't even have a chance, man. The man take your life because you don't want to get. So what does that help? And they leave a baby without parents now because dad will have to go to jail. Mom is gone. It's a lot of children out here today. We just want to take a moment of silence for them too. Like, a lot of children out here, if we really been paying attention to the news, pretty much living without their parents right now. Like, what generation have you seen is so much? I'm not saying it ain't never happened in another generation, because foster homes have been around for a long time, but this generation, this is crazy. Because adults are beefing that hard? No. The poor children don't even understand that this is what they use social media for these days. Even in the adult world, and obviously at the schools and stuff too. That's why they end up, I'm not saying that's the all in all reason, but they did end up banning phones and devices in some school districts because of how social media culture would kind of bring itself into the schools. They felt like it was a distraction. Schools always had a fight every now and then. Somebody fighting it at recess or on the playground or after school, especially in middle school and high school. But then you turn around and add social media to it. Well, at least they banned the devices in some districts at this time. So the children will also be a lot safer, because there was that other story on the news of a guy who, I think I saw an update on that story, and they arrested him though. They called him in or something. They called him in the house with the baby. But he had checked her out of school, and he wasn't even a family member. He wasn't he told them people he was her uncle, man. And this done happened this school year, since school just started back in one school district, allegedly. But it did make the news, so I think this really happened. They called her over there at his house. And the crazy thing, the parents didn't even know nothing about it. I think they are trying to sue or something right now. They're trying to, because they didn't know they thought she was at school. That's just crazy. They said for the most part, they make everybody show their ID. Like one of the last districts we was with, they already had like a new kiosk system where you could just scan your ID right there before you even talk to the desk lady, and it'll pull up your students for them. Not on the kiosk, but some kind of way you could just scan the ID though. So it already kind of had a record of like who regularly comes there. But on a lot of those applications, it'll also say, okay, well, what's your backup contact? Like who is allowed to pick them up? It'll probably give you 3 lines of people that you can write, 3 different spaces. You can put 1, 2, because you might have those emergencies come up throughout the school year. With that situation, it's like, did they check the papers? Because if the man said his name, that's scary. Like, he said his name, he could have just said he was anybody on that kid papers. That's the thing about people trying to get too close and know too much information about you, like names, ages, who's your mama, all that. You never know what a purpose is with that. One other short I saw not too long ago, y'all. And I'm going to finish this and I'll be back with part 2. But, and that's the title of this, Divine Parenting. Because this is what the parents are facing today. Like, how is that the parents' fault? An adult came and checked your child out of school that wasn't even related to your child. And he was a man. And the student was a female. I don't care if it wasn't in your child's school district, my child's school district, whatever school district it happened in. That's crazy. That's somebody's baby. Of course, the babies in that age, middle school, high school, they might not, I don't know. I know they was already trying to like, oh, yes, look at that. It's that young lady fault. And what's she doing going with somebody? No, what is that adult doing being allowed to check her out of school? They already saying they think a lot of them are meeting them on social media. I think we like an inch away from them just completely banning children from social media. I don't see why it haven't happened yet. It's just like they will lose a whole lot of money because it is a lot of stuff incorporated for kids too, apps, games, all that stuff. When it come to Google or something gonna start being happening, like what you got to do, sue the companies, because where are the children meeting the people to come pick them up? If they parents, them parents on the news said they didn't know that man. Ain't that crazy? Now, the parents could be lying. All we know right now, they said they didn't know that man. There was a whole complete stranger who came and checked their daughter out of school. Yeah, I remember the dad was talking. See, this young lady had a dad. People be trying to judge like, oh, they don't have fathers. You know how that is. Everybody has a father. Let me correct y'all. Number one, everybody has a father. You can look at some children all you want to and blame their circumstance on it. It took two for every child to get here. And so on this news story, yeah, she had a father. Like, he came out and openly spoke too. Like, yeah, I didn't know that, man. I think he told her something too, that he knew her dad. So the world is scary out here. Imagine an adult just come up to your child like, yeah, I know your mom. My kid gonna know you lying. Like, I don't tell them, oh, such and such gonna pick you up. We ain't never going through nothing that extreme or dire at that moment. You can be in the house or at the park somewhere safe. We don't need you getting in the car. And they ain't seen their mama talk to you. My kids gonna have sense. Like, yeah, I know your mama told me to pick you up right here on the side of the road. You know, people need to stop it. Because I don't know what kind of trend. We ain't gonna wait until they turn it into trend. You call it out now. It's too many stories of that. So obviously that's a new pattern they're using. Just make it like you close to them. As long as you seen with them a time or two, that should be enough. And people would think, you know, because especially if they see you distant with relatives already, like, this person is already known to not talk to relatives that much. So we can also act like one of their relatives, and as long as we seen with her a time or two, it should be okay. And no, us as divine parents, we have to watch that, because it do make you wonder, like, is it just like certain kids being targeted right now? I think the main goal is just to keep the kids as safe as possible, or we could see it, you know, increase more the protections and everything. Like I was saying, like, just banning them completely off of social media, because her parents were asking it, like, we don't know where she met that man, because of course at that level CPS done found your kid over there at the man, how all this stuff going on. Yeah, they are going to be asking you questions. Now what? The parents said they don't know you. Now what? But people be trying to squeeze theyself. That's what led me to talking about this, into relationships that ain't even a place. First, you got to understand relationships. My relationship with my son probably wouldn't be the same with my daughter. My relationship with my 14-year-old probably wouldn't be the same as my 10-year-old. But they both your whole daughters. Yeah, you've learned to be a mother-daughter relationship with four different they all your daughters, but they all different ages. They all different personalities. So you have to kind of teach kids that too, even in the household. Like, hey, I mean, I know they do go on in certain households where they probably do deal with like favoritism, because me speaking on this could be helping any kid tonight, any adult who might be doing a kid like that, like, and they might not recognize it or something like that. But you know, kids can easily start feeling like you treat another one this way or better, or you do more for this one or that one, especially if it's multiple of them in a household. Usually the eldest always got to be the sacrifice. Like, they just always more in a state of mind like, oh, I understand, I'm the oldest, you can't really do much for me anymore, you got all the other kids. And I bet that is the real story to a lot of the oldest children that had multiple siblings. It ain't saying that they ended up neglected, forgot about. Clearly they was raised. But, you know, it's like, oh, did you get to pour as much into... Because some people feel like it's absolutely impossible to pour 100% into multiple kids. But people prove that stigma wrong a lot, too. There's some people, all 5 and 6 of their kids became successful people. You see what I'm saying? They might all go into different careers or all choose different lifestyles, but at the end of the day, they all ended up successful. They all had the essentials that they needed, the essential of knowledge to survive alone as adults. They got that. I even seen some families, some of the kids, they end up doing successful things. Some of the others, even if they in and out of jail, they still their support. Their son got a home to come to. Some people can frown upon it and say, oh, they babying that person's behavior. But guess what? That person know the love is there. That person even get their life together. Cause that comes a dime a dozen. Like, not everybody have places. So to them, it's like they knew. That's why they felt the way they felt when they went to jail. If you knew you already didn't have people, then you get out. You know you really alone. So we do give reverence to those too. Like, people get out. That's why I want to start a ministry in that area somewhere a little bit. Like, it ain't just like, hey, here's free help when you get out. But some people do get out with the mind frame to actually keep their life on a track where they don't return. Because they'll make those jokes like, hey, I don't want to see you back here. They'll make those jokes. All right, we don't let us see you come back in here next time. Woo woo woo. So you want to make sure those advocacy programs are there. Like, do we have the resources to? Cause you get the funding when they enter. You get money. Trust me, they gotta pay for phone calls, food, all this different stuff. Okay, so they serve their time to society. They should be able to get back out as citizens, even if they're felon citizens or citizens with backgrounds now. Shouldn't they be able to get out? And it's like we still at that point where there's no real re-entry plan for people when they come out of prison systems. This also contributes to cycles of domestic violence. That's why we're talking about it. Um, they say that'll emasculate a man real quick. Like, he feel like he gets out, he can't provide. You already been gone. You ain't been able to provide or live a life. Or okay, so you get out. You got to get on your feet to be able to do that. And sometimes when people have helped you through burdens, like we were talking about earlier, or long seasons or periods of burdens of your life, you're not free after you overcome that burden if 10 or 20 people helped you. You're not really free yet, because guess who you owe now? You see what I'm saying? So I think it's wise, not crazy, for a person to say, you know what, this time with this burden, I'm gonna just go through it all alone. Cause at least when you come out of it, you don't have debt. You don't have debts to pay everywhere. Because Jenny helped you with 2,000 for this, Bob helped you with 4,000 for that. I learned that a lot of people do. They borrow out of convenience. They borrow out of the fact that I do have this connection. I do have this resource. The resources are there. So we clarify for people in the back to that should be like a last resort. When you said, no, I'm not doing connections, I'm not borrowing, people can say you should borrow. It's even, I've heard bill collectors ask that question to some people, like, oh, you can't just borrow it from family. They literally will ask you that, depending on what you're on. I guess they think that's a gesture of being nice. Like, they might not say family, but they might say you can't borrow it from someone, or like you ain't thought about that or something. Like, come on, bro, it's your bill or whatever it is. I don't know, but you don't want to put yourself in a position that's why people do, because predators, they give, but you better know, as soon as you feel like you own or you've made it, guess who feels like you owe them? Like, oh, well, hold on, now I helped you back in '96. Now wait a minute, where you going so fast with with all them blessings? I helped you in 2013, or they just, but I know they was just saying that Jesus paid the debt for his children. That don't mean he want us to go out here running up debt like, well, it's okay, my father Jesus got it. It is like that, but you don't want to have it so stacked up that you're not even living in your spiritual independence and freedom now, because everybody bringing up past life debts. Anyways, the reentry programs, because a lot of people that do get locked up, people like to hold that to them for the rest of their life. Like they don't still have families. Like their families don't disappear just because they get locked up, bro. Like they was still somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's cousin, somebody's uncle, somebody's dad or brother. They want relationships to only matter when somebody they see that people are getting something out of the relationships. But what about when relationships are broken? You can't call something broken that was never once whole. So everybody loves a relationship when it comes to how it makes them feel, or what they feel like they got, or what they feel like they get out of it. But what if relationships are supposed to be deeper than that? So much so that you do understand when a relationship is broken, shattered even. But the thing about broken and shattered things, some things can be replaced, some can't. So if it's really, really valuable to you, you might even try to fix it. Which we know with shattered and broken things, when you attempt to fix it, number one, it's going to take a lot of delicacy. Because now you're trying to put together pieces that was once, just like I said, whole. And if you moving too fast, you're going to make it worse. And then once you even bring it all together, you put in all that hard work. Because, when you first had it, it was whole. You put in all this whole work to put it back together. You still got to be careful with it. Because now any tap or bump could shatter it again. Number three, you have to watch how you put it back together. And understand that it'll never look exactly how it was. People ultimately be doing this with relationships. I want our relationship to be like this because this is how I was taught my man supposed. I don't know. Like people have to understand that each and every one of their relationships in life does not actually have to look like the same. That's where people begin to feel pulled on. Like, well, you gave $200. Where my $200? I'm the type of person I'd be like, wait a minute, like, who are you to me? Who is the person I gave the $200 to? You can't just walk up in my life talking about you deserve $200 because you just seen me give Betty $200. Betty is my light collector, people, right? Or that's the relationship I have with Betty. She can get $200 from me. You just gonna be a narcissist and say, well, you had $200 for Betty, you got $200 for me. Y'all don't want to believe this is real out here. This is what we have to be aware of. Trust me, domestic violence can be prevented a little bit. The more aware we are. Let people that want to pull those type of gestures and games do that on their own, man. All you can do is be aware. And don't be one of the ones we all might get scammed at least a time or two in life. I'm not saying that because I advocate for scamming. I'm saying it on the side of I know it's true because I've been scammed before. Like, plus, data breaches and stuff happen all the time. It be on the news. At least you're aware. You don't have to be just easily scammed like that out here. So, anyways, y'all, I hope y'all got a lot out of this segment as far as insightfulness and us building and talking about different bullets and stars and points. Getting a little bit deeper when you talk about domestic violence awareness. Like, what if things were like this on the other side? Where would people have time to get to 10 and they're yelling, they're fighting, they're cussing? If you know that, because some people have done that, they break up and get back together, break up and get back together. That's a cycle too. Even if y'all not physically being violent, some people just like that. They feel like this is how me and this person is. We break up and get back together. And they okay with it. Everybody's not. They might feel like they might get tired of it. They're not finna break up and get back together with everybody and just keep repeating cycles and patterns with I don't know. Cause I feel like if you're doing that with too many people, like it would be different relationships like we just talked about. Like once again, you could have all these relationships in your life. That don't mean each and every one of them perfect at the same time. Or maybe you do have those periods and seasons in life where it felt like your relationship with everybody was just top tier. It was the best it could be. It was a equal reciprocal, if you will. Like, hey, I got this person back, this person got my back, y'all feel like y'all got an understanding, like, that don't mean that you might not have a disagreement or a misunderstanding with a person, any person you might have any kind of relationship with on this earth. Back to the movie Moana, she argued with her father. When she become an older teenager, like her father, her mom was even trying to tell her father, like, look, our daughter is a little older. She's the more gentle parent. Like I was saying with the young lady, that story on the news, uh, both of her parents spoke, so sometimes you do have a two-parent household. That ain't never stopped the devil from who he wants to target and come at. He'll attack the whole family. There's many poltergeist movies that have shown us this. If you start attacking one in the family, you're attacking the whole household. They might not be the only one stay there. People notice. People notice. Oh yeah. So if one person is being attacked in the family, then they could be affecting, because we started off at the beginning of that segment saying twins is not the only one that can feel each other or have heightened senses where they might feel each other emotions and things like this. Like, you could be regular siblings, y'all ain't even twins, you can feel that person when they not around.